consent matters. All right, shower is completed. That's not okay. Oh, I just saw the gnat again. That's not okay, in my opinion. Oh! I will be a plus size influencer who has died. That is crazy. This video is so raw, you guys. Fuck.
Damn, what a real bitch is saying.
Hey there, YouTube. It's me, Hens, and I'm back here with Amberlynn. It's Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. It's Thursday, and it's Let's Talk time. This video is called Keemstar versus Zachary Michael, How Beck Proposed, and Growing Up in Poverty. Let's Talk, Episode 9. First, before we even get into the video, I have a few thoughts, and I'm going to go over them, and I felt so compelled that I even took notes about the stuff that I wanted to say, which is rare for me in these videos. Number one, the Keemstar versus Zachary Michael just proves what I said in my title and in my video last time. She is a drama queen. She's milking everything that she can because she has no content. And it's honestly giving desperate, needy, and depressing. It's gross. Number two, when any of her current exes come out of the woodwork and talk about the embarrassing or difficult stories about dealing with Amber because of how she is and how she will utterly drag a subject to death. She needs to get a life. She needs to stop doing this, and she needs to grow up. And now let's go on to the third one. This is the one that I actually really wanted to talk about because the growing up in poverty part is just like, honestly, Amber just thinks that she has a monopoly on everything, that everything that's ever happened to her never ever happened to anybody else. And it's really pretty sad. Okay, give me a break. I have to actually read my own handwriting. This is going to show that Amberlynn is just nothing but a sheltered, privileged, inflated sphincter. She takes whatever limited experience she has with poverty and how it affected her in her limited exposure. And honestly, it's really sick because she doesn't understand poverty isn't just something that can happen to you and it's just a thing. Poverty lasts for generations, and it's almost impossible at certain points in this country's history to work your way up out of whatever socioeconomic class you're born into. And Amberlynn lucked her way into it. She has no clue what actual poverty is, and maybe she's observed it in her family because she talks about how her mom can't afford things, but she doesn't seem to understand that the way she says it is so dismissive, so utterly out of touch with reality and the daily costs of living for most people. She doesn't understand how she sounds, and she doesn't try to. Because for as much as she wants to milk sympathy for herself, she's never willing to actually put in work for herself or for others. She would never be caught dead doing any kind of community service unless compelled by a court. Also, this is the other thing. She has a history on her channel of using the term ghetto to describe things that she thinks are ugly or stupid or cheap or tacky, instead of using the actual words that we have as adults. She reduces them to some term that's loaded, and she knows that it's loaded in this country, and all of the associations that individual people make with that term. And she likes to talk about how she went to San Francisco all the time. She's a Bay Area girly. But Amberlynn, you grew up 3.5 hours away from the quote-unquote inner city. If anything, she understands rural poverty, like living in a trailer, which is one thing that she said that her family did. But at the same time, she doesn't understand pervasive generational poverty in the way that it affects her personally, because she got out through no effort on her own. Most people actually work their asses off to not stay where they're at, and they still don't manage to get as far as they need to or they want to. But Amberlynn sits on her fucking ass all day, raking in cash, and thinking that she's wonderful and special. And nobody ever challenges her within her personal life, because if they do, they're kicked to the curb. So, like, the thing is that she's going to use this for sympathy, and she's going to claim that she understands what anti-poor bias is. But at the same time, she expresses and acts on those same biases herself. And you can look at examples over time on her channel, like when she talks about buying stuff and thinking, oh, well, that's not that much. Like $500 is not that much to just drop. Or like when she was living off of Crystal's parents, spending hundreds of dollars on random junk that she ended up throwing away. She thinks that that's normal, that people just have strangers giving them thousands of dollars that they waste, that they just throw away. And then that's it. There's no expectation to be paid back. There's no expectation of saying sorry. There's nothing really. And then you continue to maintain a relationship with them because you expect them to send you Christmas presents. Because she did that with Crystal for years into the Destiny era. The other thing I was thinking is that her experience with poverty in her childhood would have been limited because, at least from my understanding, she was taken into a foster care home. Ultimately, it sounds as though it was at least middle class if they arranged for trips from Northern California to LA to go to Disneyland, which she said they did at least once, maybe twice. So I don't know. Like, that, and then either her dad or her foster dad had a boat. And I don't know, like, her dad had a cell phone, a camera phone actually. When she was living in her girls group home, she told the story, and she had seen her dad's dick. He had like a dick pic on his phone, and she was going through it and she saw it. And it's like, um how did your dad, who was strung out on drugs, have a money for a camera phone when they would have been top of the line equipment? Like, I didn't get a camera phone until I was 18. And I had the first time I got a phone was in 7th grade. It was a bar phone. One of those old, it was a Sony Ericsson, actually. And then, because it was a hand me down from my grandma. And then I only got that because I was doing a summer program and I needed a way to call for my ride. And then, um, and then I didn't get a new one until I went to high school. And that was just one of those old Nokia bar phones. You know which one. If you're old enough, you know. But like, it's just all these examples of inconsistencies. And then she said that her dad would spend all their money and they didn't have money for food. But then at the same time, he owned a business, and then he had all of this stuff at his disposal. And it's like, what? And I'm not doubting the drug involvement, because obviously she got taken away and her brother got taken away, all of them. So obviously something was going on. But at the same time, it seems like her family had ups and downs economically. It wasn't just all down, from her own stories. This is pretty preachy. This is the last point that I'm going to make. And it's one thing that it won't apply to everybody, but I think Amberlynn is preying upon this like generalized idea of poverty. And what I'm going to say is, one thing that she did not deal with in growing up with poverty in any form is that some of the assumptions that come with being poor are associated with if you're not just white. And if you are not just white, some of those things become amplified. And so, one example I'll give is that my father, who died when I was 6, he died of stomach cancer. And it's a cancer that has increased chances of likelihood in all first degree relations of his. And so all of my siblings and I are basically like, oh, we should all get checked then. But at the same time, I had assumptions made when I was a kid that if they didn't see my mom and then they knew that I was half white and half black, they would assume that my dad was black and that like he died of some like crazy shit or like something because I was growing up in the Bay Area. And so it's these kinds of assumptions that also follow in poverty or even at the working class level that Amberlynn never dealt with, but she's trying to draw upon a generalized notion of poverty and lack of access. Anywho, after that heaviness, let's get into this video, I guess. I just wanted to get out some feelings before we hop into her little rage bait piece of garbage. What does she have to say to us?
Hello, welcome to another Let's Talk. I was crying a little bit before this video, so
I don't give a fuck.
that's why I look the way I do, but I'm okay. So let's just hop right into
Twinkie, can you slap her?
it with sweet and sour. KCHI Juarez said, they didn't silence you. You embarrassed them with the engagement story. I'd be
Not Amberlynn trying to correct somebody in her audience about Beck's pronouns when she doesn't respect their pronouns by posting a video using those old pronouns, which she didn't have to do.
mad too if I was them. So that engagement story was as much theirs as it was mine, and I'm allowed to share that. If you're embarrassed with the way that you proposed,
Why is she such a fucking clickbaiter?
maybe you shouldn't have proposed that way. I stand by what I said. It was a
You were the one who was embarrassed. Remember that? You said that you were actively trying to make them feel like shit about it because you thought that Beck should feel like shit for dumping you. That was your words.
weird way to propose. If you guys don't know, Beck proposed on a
This is a bad period for you to focus on because this is exactly when I started watching your fucking videos. This is gonna make me fucking irritated as shit.
vibrator after we hadn't had sex for literally a few years, and they
Maybe you should watch your fucking cooch.
asked me, will you have sex with me for the rest of my life? And I just thought that was kind of insensitive. It didn't feel personal.
Maybe you should get up and lose some weight so you don't sweat every second. Nobody wants that. Nobody's gonna lick that.
And it just felt off to me, and I have a right to share that. And that's like the only story that I've shared when I
It's literally not.
have hundreds more, but I choose not to. Ranch Girl
Hundreds more because I was keeping track in my journal.
33 said, Amberlynn, look at all the positivity in the chat. The change is coming. So I don't know. I've only seen the few comments that I screenshotted here, but if there is more positivity,
Y'all need to check out Berry Cousin because she's doing these weekly live streams where she does a random comment picker and it's the same one that Amber uses. Amber's like 5% positive comments. Yeah, right.
I'm happy to see it. Thank you guys. Sailor Mercury 1990 said, yep, I keep saying, why does VM sound like the same people every damn week? So I'm assuming you're talking about the voice messages. I have not done a single repeat. Every single voice message I have done has been from a different person.
The steady slow blink is killing it for me. That doesn't mean that it's not the same person sending it to you or that it's not like originating from the same source. She's so specific about her language.
Chop Suey 2716 said, why she keeps saying she had a CT scan. She was too
You'd swear Amber went to college, how sharp she is.
fat years ago and she didn't get it. She's heavier than before, but willy-nilly getting scans now. Well, for one, I'm not heavy.
No, it's just that Oklahoma City is probably better equipped, and Amberlynn can't be bothered to find out where she can actually go ahead of going. She just goes assuming that she should be accommodated because she's part of fat acceptance, regardless of what she says.
Heavier now. 2, I'm saying that I got a CT scan because I did. 3, I was only too big for a CT scan one time, and that was during a time when I was in a rural area. Since then, I've gotten multiple CT scans due to my cancer because I was in a bigger city. CT scans have weight limits and they're all different. Large populated places have CT
The amount of cuts in her video is so silly. It just proves that she can't make an argument straight through.
scans that do allow bigger bodies. So I hope this helps. All right, now it is time for Sip in Community. What do you consider working on your relationship with food? What have you done to improve it? So I'm just going to list
I'm sorry, I'm still so fucking worked up from the first part when I was talking about her clickbait title. I swear.
off a few things. I'm no longer like labeling foods good or bad. Yes, I'm fully aware that
Yes, that marshmallow cake, good.
there are foods that are better for you and I want to nourish myself with those, but labeling
You better eat those oatmeal cookie pies. If you don't, you're not going to get the minerals that you need, Amber.
certain foods as bad is triggering as hell for me. I'm trying to figure out like what are my emotional triggers, what are my mental triggers, like what are my
Your mental trigger is existing.
environmental triggers and things like that, and then finding coping mechanisms for those triggers. I'm keeping a food journal. This is building lots of awareness for me. I'm slowing down my eating and I'm trying not to
If you put little pieces of trash from the food, you can smell it and maybe you'll get a few calories that way. Did you try that?
eat so much while watching something because I realize I eat a lot faster while I'm like watching a YouTube video. I'm just trying to be more focused on my food. I am literally discarding the all or nothing approach because that has never worked for me in the past. Because when I do the all or nothing approach, if I make one small tiny like quote unquote bad decision, or I'm taking away the bad, but in the past if I would have made that bad decision, I would have just let loose for the full day. But instead I make that quote unquote bad decision.
How about from now on, you pick a random bad decision card that you're going to do at the end and just do it randomly in your life? How about you do that? That'll give you at least something interesting to talk about.
And I just go on. I'm connecting my eating to self-worth. Like so many people tell me, Amberlynn, you're so fat, you don't need to eat for a year. Like I don't believe
Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Amberlynn is a bully, and Amberlynn needs to get a fucking life.
that. I'm just trying to really truly take away all of this like nonsense, this noise that I only deserve food
The noise is you.
if I'm skinny. I try not to watch any eating content, and if I do, I make sure they're eating something healthy. Like, have you guys heard of the Tiffany plate? That's that plate that I eat with all the veggies and the
No, I don't watch people to inspire me to eat. I eat when I'm hungry. Sorry. I have normal hunger cues.
cottage cheese and the chicken sausage. Like, if
I've
I
worked
was to
on
watch eating
myself.
content, I make sure to only watch ones that are healthy because I noticed that like the unhealthy lack of nourishing foods does trigger me. I'm trying to pay more attention to my hunger, fullness cues. I feel like the list can literally go on and on and on and on and on, but I'm really working on it. It's free reign, not free
She says the list can go on and on about her mental health too, about the things going on in her life. It's because she doesn't have anything.
range. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I say free range, but thank you for letting me know. I'm probably
It's
gonna
because you're
forget, if we're being
fucking
honest. I'm
stupid.
so worried about my health. At Denny's after the ER, give me that girly pop grand slam. So I don't know if you guys know this, but most restaurants do have healthier
Girl.
options, and that includes Denny's. And again, I got a salad.
And we looked at those salads. They range from 560 calories to 1,040.
Why don't you ever do a low sodium diet? You know what's really funny about this question? When I got my lab results, my sodium was low. My sodium was low.
Is it because all of the sodium is distributed in 500 pounds?
It was in the normal range, but it was low on the normal range. And I'm telling you, I'm probably as shocked as y'all. Keemstar cussed you out just like Zach did, but you loved when Keemstar did it. Make it make sense. Keemstar
It's because
is a
she paid for it. She likes prostitutes.
troll. He's literally like that towards everyone. Like if you've watched his live streams, he's like that even towards the people that he loves the most. I'm not saying that he loves me. I'm not saying that we're friends because we're definitely not. But even me, like me and my closest friends, we call each other hoe, hooker, like bitch, like what's up bitch, like literally like it's about the intent. Like it's way different when it's a joke versus like how Zach did it. Like that was out of anger.
Amberlynn, there's some very good reasons to be mad at you. And this video is one of them. When you talk about cancer is another one. And whenever you bring up any of your exes, that's another. And then when you personally attack any reaction channel over information that you do or don't have, that's also that. Because you have a larger platform than every other person on this YouTube. So that inherently kind of feeds into the bullying aspect of you. You get off on it and you get paid for it. It's the ultimate thing for you. It's like breaking a kid's glasses and getting paid for it. You would love that too when you were a kid.
Like remember, intent matters, just like in most things. How was a
No,
guy
it
watching
doesn't.
your
No, it does not. You are fucking delusional. Intent doesn't matter. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I didn't mean to drink 5 drinks and hit that kid. Oopsie.
TikTok at Denny's. So it's not that it was a coincidence
Fuck
that the guy was
you.
watching my TikTok at Denny's and I heard him do it in the sense of like, oh, it's a coincidence. Like he's just sitting there watching my TikTok and then there I am, I pop up. It's the fact that he recognized me first, put the TikTok on, showed his friend, and he was like, no, it really is her. It's not that he was watching it first. Trust me, this happens a lot where someone will recognize me. They'll be looking, they'll either go to my Instagram or my TikTok and I'll hear them. My mom will hear them. Like when I got my other side of my nose pierced, my mom was whispering to me, she's like, those people recognize you. And it was just
Those people recognize that you're a 500-pound woman, and there's not many that walk around in this world that are pseudo celebrities on YouTube. Imagine that. I'm sure that Hungry Fact Chick gets the same shit when she goes out to the fucking heart attack grill. So imagine that. You're famous for being a fat fuck who sits on her ass and is a little fucking bitch.
Just like a cluster of people, and I didn't even notice. Like, we were in the piercing shop and she was like, watch, watch, and then I caught them like looking and they were like whispering, yeah, it is her, but I was so nervous to get the other side of my nostril pierced that I didn't even notice. But like, this has been happening forever. Like, a lot of the time, like, people do come up to me, but there are a lot of the time
She didn't notice, but she totally noticed.
that they don't. And then later I'll get a message on Instagram where they're like, oh, I saw you on so and so, I was too shy to come up to you. I genuinely think I'm just recognized a lot because there's also a lot of people who cover me. All right, you guys, now it is time for the interview.
So where do you think the line is between weight being due to genetics versus being due to environmental factors or personal choice and lifestyle?
She can't tell. She doesn't know. She thinks that the amount her face puffs up is determined by her genes that she got from Mama Lynn. Amber, one of those X chromosomes is from your dad. Did you know that?
I don't think there really is a line because if it is due to genetics, then that's pretty black and white. I know for me,
You are so fucking stupid. You're so fucking stupid. Please go back to fucking middle school. They teach this in middle school because we started learning biology and earth sciences in middle school in California, Amber. Maybe if you showed up to school, you would have learned this.
it's due to genetics. My grandma on my dad's side used to be 600 pounds, but then she actually got the weight loss surgery. So I only knew her as a woman who was like 100 and something pounds. She's no longer with us. Like, that woman was my heart and soul. I miss her so much every single day. But I also
And yet you never talk about her.
know that it's environmental because of the things that I went through, all of the trauma. I turned to food. So I have a lot of medical and I have a lot of environmental, just things like working against me. Like, when I did the ACE test, I scored 9 out of 10. Now that we're here, I actually want to share with you
The self-reporting test. She didn't score that. That's what she self-reported. That's not a score.
guys what 9 I have, because I know so many people are like, what? So these questions are pretty black and white. Like, there's no even having to think of them. It's either it did happen or it didn't. I actually think that these questions might even be too triggering for some people. So I've decided I am not going to share them.
Hi, Amber. So I watched Destiny and Becky's video about you.
Okay.
And something that struck me as odd was the constant
Oh, so they're a fan of yours because they're dead naming Beck. Huh. And you didn't correct that. You didn't feel the need.
blazing everyone was doing for them. I felt that there was not a lot of accountability on Destiny/Becky's end.
Okay.
Again?
While I believe
Okay, I'm not gonna correct you again. Okay, because you're stroking my ego. Okay.
Becky may not remember everything clearly, it felt like she kind of began to use that as a crutch.
You're not gonna correct him again? This little bitch? Huh? Amber? With this prissy little Are you're just telling me exactly what I've been thinking.
To not take accountability or answer difficult questions, like questions about Twinkie.
Okay.
Do you think that the fans were sort of ready to take anything?
What are they supposed to take accountability for? What are Destiny and Beck supposed to take accountability for in regards to Amber's pets? Twinkie wasn't even originally Amber's pet. Twinkie belonged to Destiny. She was gifted to them as when they were a couple. That doesn't mean that Amber gets to keep Twinkie. What the fuck? She took Twinkie. Hello? And then she also took Wasabi. After renaming him from Chaplin, which is what Destiny got to name him, because Amber said that Destiny got to name him. And she chose Chaplin, and then Amberlynn changed it because she didn't like it. Because she didn't understand the reference.
Destiny and Becky said in order to run with it and paint you as the villain. And how do you navigate that? How do you navigate the hate?
Oh,
She doesn't. And you know that. And you need to fuck off, just like Amber.
they were willing to hear anything said about me and
What? We're not listening to this.
but like, I'm telling you, I could like pop off at a level that would probably shock a lot of people.
Oh no, we know. Go ahead. Do it. Punch a wall just like you used to.
Medium amount, definitely in live streams. But like, I'm telling you, I could like pop off at a level that would probably shock a lot of people, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lower myself to that level.
She's already done that though. And she used to do that all the time. And then there's an ankle video he reacted where she punched, like, she's showing her closet and it looks like she punched it. And then she's saying, oh, it must have been the previous tenant. Like, what? If you know that you did it, why would you say that blatantly? And then we find out years later from Destiny, not Beck, from Destiny, the one who was there to see that you were doing that. And that was after she had like knocked down the bathroom door at their previous apartment. Like, what the fuck? Who knocks down an entire door at an apartment?
But at the level that I did pop off, it's just like, because it's too much. Like, why lie? Why share personal details? Like, it's just heavy. It's a lot.
So it's not the lying that she's mad about because she doesn't specify any lies. It's the telling personal things that she doesn't approve of. But she's fine with saying, oh, Destiny, do you want the audience to find out about your brother and your dad? Stuff that we would never have known.
It's overwhelming. Any person on this planet, if they were experiencing what I have been experiencing, they would probably pop off themselves.
No, if they were experiencing what you experienced, they might realize that they are the problem. If everybody, including their intimate partners, don't want to talk to them anymore, you might think that.
Or they would disappear from the internet. Hint, hint. They will stay glazed, and I really just don't care.
Hey, Amberlynn, me and my girlfriend have watched you for years now and have loved watching your journey.
Another UK listener.
My question to you is, how do you handle setbacks without getting discouraged?
Ooh, I feel like I do get
She
discouraged
doesn't.
a lot. But somehow I just
Yeah.
pick myself back up.
Hello, I'm doing this while I'm doing my skincare. My first question is,
I don't believe that.
so we saw you get a Fitbit, and I mean, maybe I just haven't paid close attention, but I don't know where the Fitbit went, because I'm like, that Fitbits aren't
Yeah, that's because I never showed it.
cheap.
And yeah, her knuckles are looking really dark.
I don't know where the Fitbit went, because I'm like, that Fitbits aren't
Your knuckles are looking really dark.
cheap. So and then also, I felt like you've had an Apple Watch before,
Mhm.
and I'm like, where did that go?
It doesn't fit anymore.
You know,
I got the small watch band, so it doesn't fit anymore.
your Apple Watch, I guess. I don't know. And I'm gonna send my second question in another thing.
That was 2 questions, you dumbass.
Okay, so they did send me a second question, as they said, but let me answer that real quick. So the Fitbit was broke. Remember when I showed you guys, like, it went through the ringer to get to me? It was broke. Like, the front of the screen.
And yet you didn't request a replacement? You ordered it from Amazon, but you didn't get a replacement. You have Prime. What are you talking about? What? And also, hectic.
Cracked. Couldn't even turn on. I was like, is the universe telling me that, like, I don't...
You see? Oh, the universe. The universe. I never leave my apartment, but it's the universe.
need a Fitbit. As for the Apple Watch, oh, she been lost. She been lost. I don't even think she made it to Oklahoma. All right, let's do the next question.
Feline stole it. You know you can't trust her.
My second question is, you've cycled through a lot of diets.
Yes.
You'll count calories until it triggers you, then you'll eat intuitively until you gain too much weight and realize you don't have, that control yet, and then you'll try Ozempic to
Yeah, that's the not dealing with the failure.
your gallbladder hurts, and you
This sounds very much like a yo-yo dieter, very common, but yes, I do cycle.
try to do
I hope that you guys can hear them, by the way.
keto, but then your gallbladder hurts, but it helps your lipedema. So it's just, I don't know. I want to ask, what do you think what's it gonna take? Like, what's gonna work? And if you don't know that, that's okay.
Wait, is she just recording this on her phone and pressing play on her computer? You see, Amber, this is why people say that you're not a professional YouTuber. You don't use a software to record. You could monitor your levels if you did. You could see, oh, what is my voice compared to the video? But no, you can't even be bothered. With 24 hours a day, you can't be bothered to learn a new skill over 10 years.
Thing too.
I don't know yet.
I was just curious because it's like, I mean, I'm not a fan, but I have I've followed your journey since like 2018.
I'm not a fan, but I do want to date you.
To be honest, it is a little maddening.
You're watching it. I'm living it. Like, it is maddening. I literally hate this for the both of us. Okay.
So that's just my main question is, what's it gonna take? And I'm trying not to be rude, but I can come
You're
on.
I already said what it's going to take. Headstone.
Once, I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
But yeah,
This isn't Beetlejuice, Amber.
those are my main questions.
Honestly, I think it's me working on my relationship with food, because before I never worried so much about that. It was more so like, oh, diet culture, oh, let's lose weight. Now it's like, girl, like, let's work on that relationship with food.
That's not true. She was so obsessed with veggie burgers and, oh, I want to have all enough veggies when she was living with Crystal's family because they were paying for everything.
Food that's going to heal the way that you think of food. It's a lot. Okay, so they sent another one, so let's listen.
Also, I was not going to send a third message, but your egg intolerance actually is probably a side effect from your gallbladder because the egg yolk is really fatty. And when I had my gallbladder, that was a huge trigger for me was eggs. And I still can't eat them because it reminds me of how
Do you know how long that would mean that's been going on?
sick I used to get when I had a gallbladder. So, yeah, fun fact, it's probably because of your gallbladder.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but no, it's not because of my gallbladder. I've actually had it since I was just a wee little girl, and my mom also suffers with the same thing. But thank you for the questions.
You were never a wee little girl. You were always overweight.
I just want to say that me and my sister love you. We always watch you together. But I just have two quick questions to ask. One, what like catchphrase like I know you feel like hectic on one, but like what catchphrase would you put on your like next like merch drop if you're gonna have one?
Mm-hmm.
And then also my other question is like, what was like your like favorite diet? Like not like necessarily like how well it worked, but like the one that you enjoyed most. Like what diet did you like?
Why does he sound like a teenager? And why does she sound like, I want to be your best friend?
Enjoy, I guess, the most that you were on. Thank you, Queen. I love you.
I love you too. Why am I so giggly? I don't know what's going on. So I don't
Because
know
you
what
like any gay dude who sounds mildly interested in you as a person. You think that it's the ultimate sign off that you're cool.
catchphrase I would put on one next. Like I was making so much merch, but then things happened and I had to stop. There was a lot of catchphrases, a lot of inside jokes. You guys would have literally loved it. I don't know if that's something I'll go back to or not, but right now the subject is a little touchy. But regarding favorite diet, Jenny Craig. Like I don't know what it is, but definitely favorite.
Hi Amber, I'm a huge fan of you and your channel. My question for you is, if you could start your YouTube career from scratch but keep all your knowledge of how to be a YouTuber, would you do anything differently? Would you change the way you...
Why do they sound like they're either doing something inappropriate, walking on a treadmill, or like in a rush to get on a train?
did your journey? Let us know. Love you.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I love you too.
Hi,
And you would get nowhere.
I'm Amberlynn. Long-time viewer, first-time questioner. I've always wanted to know, when will you ever, release any information on your foster journey and what had happened to you during that time? I know that it's a very touchy subject.
You must be new here. Going back to the Crystal era, she has given intimate stories of her foster care experience, little glimpses here and there, but overall, a picture. And then also of her in and out of her family, her close family. And ultimately, she wasn't even around or aware of her mom's family until she was an adult.
But it's just something that I've always found interesting because everybody has a different kind of story.
Yeah.
And even just releasing some information about it would just be something I'd want to hear in like a vlog or a Let's Talk video.
Yeah, because she's so unique. It's not like foster care is a real experience that multiple people go through. It's something that only happens to Amber. It's not like growing up in poverty is something that a lot of people struggle with and struggle to get out of. No, that's only what happened to her. It was a momentary affliction.
So that subject is very touchy for me, for sure. And I think that's a reason why it's hard, because it's like there's so much that happened, obviously. Whether that was before foster care, during, or after, like there's a lot. And I know that there are so many people who are watching.
Yeah, there was so much when you were just taking advantage of any person who would just give you money. Right?
Me who literally don't believe a word I say. Foster.
No, I believe that some stuff happened to you. And I believe that you like using it as a reason for not trying, including for your weight to this day. That's what I believe. And I believe that a lot of the things that you like to ham up and generalize about are the things that you didn't experience the worst of. And because she knows that, she has to rely on whatever pre-existing biases or opinions people have about those things. And to like, oh, how she says that foster care is only bad and that it was never really good for her. But then she has her foster care mom that she said, oh, you need to feel sympathy for me because I lost her. Like, which is it? Like, you relied on them to pay your cell phone bill well into adulthood until you got on a line with Destiny. Remember, Amber? That's you. People who are just strangers who are obligated to take care of you don't do that. You don't understand shit. And like, She thinks that because she got taken away from her family, that she has it worse than other people. Amber, sometimes it's worse that people don't get taken away, that they are stuck in a family that would rather not have them. Like, it happens every day, and they don't get attention because they're not being actively mistreated. That doesn't mean that them having to struggle on their own is okay. It doesn't make you more of a victim. It's crazy that she does this shit and she thinks that everybody should just feel bad for her because she doesn't actually know anything about what other people go through, because she's not interested in hearing other people's stories and understanding them.
And the things around it, I do not.
And like I said, she grew up 3 hours from the Bay Area. If she went nearly as much as she claims, she should understand what true poverty looks like and the depths that it can send some people to. But she doesn't really seem to understand, especially in the way that she talks about things.
Want any of that to be questioned, because that is the shit that gave me.
I don't want any of it to be questioned because I should never be questioned. It doesn't matter. And that's the thing. She's saying it about this so that she can apply it to other things. That's what she's saying.
So much fucking trauma. Like, that is my real life, true, authentic story.
Who says that?
And for that to be like tainted in that way, which, bro, like, it can't even be more tainted than it already is, because obviously I have a lot of trauma, but it's just like for people to touch it in like a vile way.
Ew. See, this is what I hate. The language she's using. Because what she's alluding to is childhood things that happened to her. But now she's using that language as if it's happening to her again. That's what she's trying to say. And it's fucking insane. Mr. Snowflake played your videos, where your story doesn't match up. And you're like, he's doubting me. You would doubt yourself if you saw that shit.
Instead of like a way that comes from like concern and gentleness. Like, I don't know, it's just hard.
Yeah, unless you're willing to caress me in a good way that I like. No.
For me, but I am an open book. And I am always open to
answering
any questions about
No.
foster care.
No.
It's just hard for
Emotions,
me to sit down
no.
and make a full-fledged story
Shut
time.
down.
It would probably
cry. I cried in front of my doctor and my mom because I had to fill out a questionnaire about my health. Really, Amber? Really? You haven't had any therapy, have you?
10 hours long. I'd probably forget a lot of things. I'd be editing it back, probably thinking, damn, I should have said that, or I should have, it's just a lot. But I am always willing to answer things.
Hi, Amberlynn. First, I want to say that having your videos playing in the background has gotten me through.
I swear to God, if that was the extent of her talking about growing up in poverty.
Both my bachelor's degree and now my master's degree.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
We gotta balance the chaos with some more chaos.
Yes.
So my question is, coming from a place of someone who also grew up in poverty and struggles with the scarcity mindset.
Yes.
I want to ask how.
Bitch, she has not had that mindset. Not since she's been an adult. Hello? Hello? She never had that mindset with Crystal. She never acknowledged that mindset. Never. That she has a scarcity mindset and that she feels the need to only eat because she doesn't think she's going to get food. She knows she's going to get food. And that's not even up for debate. She knows she's going to get food. She's getting food before she's even hungry. She's eating before 2 hours have elapsed in a live stream. She has used food to soothe herself whenever she feels emotional. She said that. That means that she knows that food is available. And even when she was in foster care, food was not a scarcity. Food was available. She got told not to eat all the fucking food in the house because she would, because she kept doing it. And then she bullied kids for their food at school. She told that story before. She's not going to bring that up, that she used to steal other kids' food at school and eat it. This bitch, she didn't have a scarcity mindset. She didn't have a scarcity mindset in that moment. That was her being a bully. But she would say, oh, it must be. It must be. But have you gotten therapy for it? She's going to say that she still deals with it to this day. But then why haven't you gotten therapy? And you claim that you've had therapy when you were in foster care because it's mandated. Remember that, Amber?
How do you plan on dealing with this in the long term? I know that I feel like once I have money, I need to spend it, or even once.
And she's doing this fake pretend, I'm going to cry, but there's no tears. The rolling the eyes and like trying to make all these faces, it's not real.
Once I have food,
It's like a 5-year-old.
Eat it because I feel like I might never have it again. I still go back to that place in my mind. And, you know, in the context of weight loss, which is also something I have struggled with, I think that the scarcity mindset gets in our way because in our search for balance, we will.
And stop generalizing. Just because you just got a secondary degree doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you should be sending this fucking stranger voice messages telling her that she's valid. What the fuck? You're not a therapist and you're not her therapist. And she's going to take this message as though you were. What the fuck?
Will create an artificial
But she won't listen to doctors who actually have certificates and degrees in this and deal with this every day. Okay, Amber.
That our mind just instinctually wants us to alleviate. And so with that said, do you ever think that you'll get over the scarcity mindset? Is there something that you're doing or can see yourself doing to interrupt these thought patterns? Because
you're a dumbass, because this requires introspection to a degree that she's never exposed. She's never shown this willingness or ability to do that. So why would you ever propose it? Or are you new?
it can be done, and I know that it can be done by doing.
I know that it can be done in general, so you must be able to as well. That's the stupidest fucking logic.
Some work with making yourself feel more secure in your situation. And
that's what she tells herself about every diet.
Long, but I hope that
every diet works for somebody, and yet that's what she tells herself about every diet.
This question finds you well, and happy summer. Bye.
Aw, thank you. I literally loved that voicemail. Thank you. Voicemail.
Of course you did.
Voice message. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I genuinely loved that. I do have that mindset. I noticed it more and more. Like, more money that I made on YouTube, the more I would spend it. Like, I used to buy
Oh, Amber. Oh, Amber. Oh, Amber. Please see a professional, because this is just the ramblings of a mad woman. At this point, this is some crazy person sitting in their apartment making money off of their insanity. It's insane. Literally.
so much clothes from Torrid because I grew up with none. Like, when I lived with my parents.
Amber. Oh, Amber. That's not even accurate, though, because she says that she buys clothes for the future. She's not buying them for the moment. She buys them for the future. When I lose weight, I'm gonna wear that. Remember? All of those things that you've ever said. I'm not buying this for now. I'm buying it for when I get down to a size 4. This is insane. The level of revisionism. You don't have, like, you might have had a scarcity thing as a kid. You didn't have it the second that you had people taking care of you, not making you do anything with your life. Even when you were in Casey's apartment, like, you still had to go to school or you had to work. You still had to do something. And then as soon as you got into crystals, oh, I'm a middle-class woman. I'm a taken care of person. Nobody can tell me to work. Never again will I struggle. And then it was just opulence every second since, on somebody else's dime for years. And then finally you started making money. But before that, you drained Destiny's bank account because you had her put you on it within a month because you had no income. You leech.
Parents.
You were 24, 25, leeching off of a 19-year-old. You monster.
I had like one pair of pants, one sweater. Then I went to a children's shelter.
And then you relied on, after your childhood, you relied on other people to provide all this for you. You really did. Because that's the thing, is she would think that, oh, well, yeah, of course. They're not going to let me just be homeless. You're a stranger to them, Amber. Even some people's families kick them out when they're teenagers still. You don't understand.
Where you're sharing clothes with everybody. Like, there's like a special closet that you go in and like, I had nothing. And then even through foster homes, like, I would get a couple outfits, but then I would transfer into a different foster home and then I would lose those clothes. It's like, where the hell did they go? I don't understand.
It sounds like you were losing them. Because I don't think that people would just take back clothing that was too big to fit other kids. Make that make sense, Amber.
And then when I was living with my parents, it's like one day we wouldn't really have much food. The next day, my dad.
And that's the thing is like, how would the food just disappear? Were you bingo eating all the way back then?
Would go out and buy a bunch of like dollar cheeseburgers from McDonald's, and then I would eat it fast and a lot, and like
called it.
You know, we got free food from the food bank. That's a random fact. Like it would.
Yeah, that's not just once in a while, Amber. If your parents weren't working, they would have qualified. Like, that's my thing. Like, if she actually grew up in poverty, she would know all of this stuff. She would know that her parents would have qualified likely for a food bank box, like usually once a month. And then they would have like sometimes ones with meat or some that were like pantry items. But Amberlynn never talked about this shit before.
Get delivered to us every Saturday. We had nothing.
Every Saturday. Delivered to you? Excuse me? Huh? I remember having to fucking go and wait in the car with my mom. Being aware enough, but young enough that I couldn't give an opinion.
Have this money, it's like I catch myself buying too much of something, and a lot of people's like, Amberlynn's a hoarder. It's like, no, I'm not a hoarder. I just
No, Amber. Because you know what? You know what? That's just you. That's not necessarily that. You act like it's just, oh, that's just how things are. If you grow up like that, you'll just always expect you have to supply yourself with extra. That's actually part of your mental issues that you need help for, that you claim that you've been getting therapy for since you were in foster care. And it's so clear that you've never had a day of real therapy that stuck with you.
My brain does not work accordingly, and I don't really 100% know how to get out of it. I mean, I will.
Impatient, or as Jordy says, in ground.
Say I have definitely improved. I'm not sitting here buying hordes of clothing anymore. Like, I'll buy a few things off of Torrid.
You literally let boxes sit for months. You buy them. Oh, well, I'll just open it later because it's not for now anyways. That's not the same thing. You buy yourself Legos every fucking week because you feel like it. That's not, oh, I have scarcity mentality. That's a luxury, you fucking cunt.
If they like drop something that's like super cute in my
Jesus
style,
Christ, like you literally made me say it.
So buy like Legos and stuff because that's my hobby, and literally my head is full of chaos and war and depression and
how about you fucking go to war with yourself out in the middle of nowhere?
Sadness, and the minute I start doing a Lego, all of that just silences. So it's like I am trying to spend money on things that
oh my fucking god. I didn't even think that's where she was going to take this. I was just saying the Legos as an example of one of the things that she spends on. Amazon would be another example. But holy shit. Holy shit.
Actually genuinely I feel like I need or like want, instead of like being in that.
No, I didn't get that as a child, so I'm indulging myself. Feed and respect your inner child. She said before, I just feel like I'm a child trapped in my body. Like, you're a fucking freak.
Mindset. All right, you guys, now it is time.
It is not that. That is, so I was reticent before to say that it was not the scarcity mindset that she's feeling. It's not the scarcity mindset that she feels. That's not what it is. I'm not a medical professional, so that's not a diagnosis. I'm saying she does not fucking have that because she would not be fucking spending it on shit that she knows that she's going to throw away. Things that she might never open. Remember, she had Legos piled on Legos that she's never opened. Things that she hasn't looked at in months because she just wanted it. That's not scarcity mentality. That's not something that she needs to live. That's not something that she's going to suffer without. It's something that she wanted in the moment. And so she bought it because she had the money. That's all. It's disgusting. And it's so insulting to people actually who worked themselves out of it's insulting to people who worked themselves out of poverty or who are still working their way out. Like, fuck you and all your family.
Time for tea or tail.
Oh my fucking god.
Amberlynn is dumb for not reading her oracle cards in the right order. So
I don't have to do whatever you say. Whatever you say, I'll find a reason for why that's not true. Because I could never admit that I do things that are wrong. No.
oracle cards are super flexible. If you're doing like a more structured
I thought you said that you're not supposed to read oracle cards in a certain way. It has to be done certainly.
reading, like past, present, future, then yeah, you're probably going to want to read left.
For me, I just pick and choose. I just make it up as I go, so it doesn't really matter anyways.
To right, but I don't really do it that way. Like oracle is super intuitive, so I just read them with like the energy and the message.
It's super intuitive because it has a paragraph on the card, and then the explanation in the manual is a whole page. Of course, it's fucking self-explanatory.
That is trying to come through, and sometimes that can be
Jesus, she is really, really insufferable. It's like a 12-year-old trying to prove that they're an adult to a bunch of 30-year-olds. And I'm not saying that y'all are 30. I'm saying that that's me.
With the card, sometimes the middle card is a bridge to the first one and the second one. They're all tied together some way. There's no wrong way of reading oracle as long as the reading and the interpretation feels authentic and meaningful. Amberlynn only showers and cleans in her vlogs to prove.
So then that means that every fucking reading that I do, I'm just telling you in the moment what I'm getting from those cards in the order that she pulls them, and I read it in the order that she pulls them, not how she does it. So when I'm telling you what I think, it's just my actual trained logical eye looking at what you're pulling based on my understanding. And actually, I probably have more experience with tarot than her, even though I've never even done it myself.
She can. It is so crazy to me, so wild to me, that people are taking like everyday normal moments in someone's life and like creating an agenda behind it.
It's kind of crazy that someone who doesn't leave her apartment on a daily basis thinks that her life is important enough to be paid for. Huh.
Like literally over analyzing everything to the last
Aww.
detail. I do a lot.
It's almost like you don't tell the truth and then you want to say something else because it sounds good in the moment, and then you don't want people to remind you that you've already said something else. Should I remind you about you seeing your dad's dick on his camera phone because he was somehow strung out on drugs yet could afford that and didn't sell it for drugs? I'm sorry. I'm going there.
A lot of things that I don't vlog. I rarely ever show myself cleaning or showering, and those are things that I do on a day-to-day basis.
Because also, her family, her actual family, not her foster family, they're from Ukiah, which is rural, not close to the Bay Area. So your dad probably knew exactly where his guy was, and so he wouldn't need a phone. What the fuck? That's all I'm saying.
Basis. And then it's like when I do show it, people make some conspiracy about it. It's so weird. Here's a little secret for you guys. I do not live life for my vlog. I simply just vlog my life.
You don't have a life, and that's why these vlogs are you talking about yourself all the time. I just hate talking about myself, but if you say something positive about me, I'll glow.
Life. And sometimes that's going to be me showing you the bland, like the bland of the bland.
Sometimes. When's the last time you did something exciting?
Like, yo, just showered, how you doing? Like every...
When's the last time you did something for the first time? Huh? When? When is the last time that you did something for the first time? I did it today. I learned a new skill at work. First time ever seeing it. Did it. When's the last time you did it?
Vlogger that I watch talks about showering, talks about cleaning, but when Amberlynn does it, it's a whole like conspiracy.
That's because these are the people that you're watching. There's a reason that none of us have ever heard of them.
And there's some sort of agenda behind it, and that's just like not the case. Cleaning and showering, it's nothing special. Every single person on this planet should be doing that. Amberlynn did the right thing.
The audacity. The audacity to tell us that we need to shower. Amber, I shower every day. Every day before I go to work. Right before I go to work, I'm showered. Right out the door. Showered. How about you?
Thing by going to the hospital. I got this so much in my Instagram DMs, and I have to agree with you guys. But I also noticed there was a large fraction of people that were like, bro, like that was so dumb. Like you should not be worried about chest pain. You should.
Nobody said that. No one said that. I said you having chest pain was probably a pulled muscle because you had just been standing on your tiptoes, which you shouldn't do, reaching all the way to the top that you could reach of your closet, and something happened to where hangers broke because you were holding on to them somehow and they still broke. That's why I said that. So you can fuck off.
Not
Again,
be worried about an elevated D dimer. Listen, I want to make something.
Nobody said that you shouldn't worry about the elevated D dimer. They said that you didn't have a blood clot by definition because you had one, because you didn't. And even still, they did the scans, and you still tried to convince people that you should be checked further for those things. Like, that's why I said she was playing telephone with the doctor, because she told them what she wanted to interpret the results as. She didn't show them or read off the paper. That's not what she said. She said, I told them. She said that the nurse kind of wrote her off and didn't take her seriously at the ER. But then she was like, but you said I might have a blood clot, but you checked my lungs and you checked the other places that it was most likely to be, but I still have other parts of my body. And that's why they said to go check with your doctor so that they could follow up and send you to a specialist if you needed to. And because you called your doctor and told them, probably crying, that I have a blood clot probably, but they said I need to talk to you. And then they said, we don't have any appointments, ma'am. You already called us. You need to go to urgent care. And then you went to urgent care. And then urgent care told you, well, we didn't find anything, but if it's continuing and it's persistent, you need to go to the emergency room. And then she said, I feel stupid, because she was alluding to the fact that she thinks that they made her go around in a circle. But then she said, oh, there's so many ERs in Oklahoma City, so I'm glad that it wasn't busy. And that made me think, I didn't say it at the moment, but it made me think, did she go back to the same ER or did she go to a different one? That's what I think.
Very clear, and it's probably obvious.
She's on my bad side.
I have really bad health anxiety. It's literally the type of anxiety, like most anxieties, like all anxieties, where you cannot.
Oh, psychologist Lynn has entered the building. Tell me about anxiety. Tell me about the thing I felt most of my life.
Control it. And even being rational during those times is almost impossible. Like while it's happening, you even wonder, am I being rational? Should I be worried about this?
Your answer should always be no. Because generally, you have layers of things that are going on, delusion, that are actually skewing your perspective, making you not realize. And one of those things is lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge, and then further, lack of understanding. Those are the things that essentially hold you back from becoming a full adult because you don't want to put any effort in. That's you, Amber.
Should I have
Good job.
anxiety? Should I be scared? Should I be seen? Like,
maybe you should go to your doctor as regularly as you claim. Then all of your things wouldn't be such a surprise. Like your results. Like the fact that your A1C, you could have shown a result 6 months ago. Proving that it is always 5.4. But you don't go as much as you say. That's the thing.
It's just constant in your brain. But after being diagnosed with cancer and after everything that like surrounded that, if there is something health related wrong with me, I want it to be fixed.
That's why you left the lung thing. You got the scan. I have a collapsed lung, but they were telling me it was cancer. Never did any follow-ups. That's why she was surprised that it was still there. What the fuck? Is she actually this fucking stupid? I actually wonder, are you actually this dumb? Or are you just like, What? You just don't care. I think she doesn't care and she's dumb.
Like if something is wrong, I need to figure it out. Like a year ago, I was having like a few symptoms and I was an advocate for myself. And it turns out I had a 6 mm kidney stone. I probably still have it because there's nothing you can really
Because I never went for my ultrasound. Because I wanted to get fed by Tommy, Emily.
do about it because it's literally in my kidney. It's not traveling yet. Sometimes your symptoms are nothing, but sometimes they are something. And I'm not invincible. Scary things can happen.
I'm sorry to tell you, but you are one of the last people that I consider invincible. You are one of the most vincible, if you would. If you want to do an Amberism, you are one of the most vincible people that I have ever seen.
I'd rather care about myself just enough than not care about myself at all. And I'm just not gonna be
Just enough. Just enough to not die.
sorry for that.
Oh, and also, vincible is a word. It is some kind of an esoteric word because I've never heard somebody use vincible in colloquial English. Ever.
All right, you guys, it is time for bad choices. And look, this is how many we've done.
Oh, yay! Life examination with Amber.
I keep my pile over here. That is how many we've done during the series. Like, can you believe it? I
We.
don't know. 1, 2.
We put up the tree. We put up all these paintings. Not my stepdaddy, Lynn. No, we.
I try to like get random 3, 4, 5. Okay, make sure they're all in the right
Do you need to count on your fingers? I know you need help.
way here. Alrighty, here we go. Have you ever had sex at work?
No.
No? Have you ever lied about your weight on your driver's license?
Yes.
No. During
Oh yeah, she's never had one. Who am I thinking that she's an adult?
sex, have you ever tried to finger someone's ass without their permission?
What the fuck? What? So, non-consensual. What?
No! What the hell? Would you marry a billionaire even if it meant you could never see your family again? It depends. Like,
Yes, I would send Mama Lynn all the money that I don't want. All the crumpled little bills.
am I still able to talk to them? Because there has been obviously multiple times that I've lived in a different state. I didn't see my family, but I talk to them daily. If I'm allowed to talk to
The
them,
answer is
then
yes,
yeah, because
regardless.
love is love, but I'm not marrying them just for the money. See, this question's weird.
That's because Amberlynn has enough money in her mind to take care of what she wants, which is food and a place to live. Which, I mean, that's what most people want, but her version of food is obviously a little different.
I would never marry someone just for money. I would never not see my family just for money. But if I found love and this person happened to be a billionaire, then yeah, but only if I can talk to them, FaceTime them.
You should marry Jeff Bezos so that he forces you to get plastic surgery.
You know, message them and they're still in my day-to-day life. Have you
I'm sorry. I'm feeling like Amberlynn makes me want to be a worse person. She really does.
ever pretended to be asleep while someone was having sex in the same room? Ugh, I've been a teenager.
Excuse me? That is weird. That it's giving The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So that book changed my life. I was in the advanced reading class. And that was one of the that was actually one of the books that we read. And we did an analysis on it. I think it was because like half of us were gay in the class and the teacher was also a lesbian. But it's so funny because there's a part of the book where Charlie is in the room under all the coats and like there's people like hooking up on him, I believe. It's weird, but yeah.
Once, and I'm telling you, my friends were hecticana. That is all I'm gonna say about that. Wow.
Ew, your friends? Yeah, she's a fucking creep. She just didn't want to say anything because she was probably like, initially she was probably interested in wanting to like hear what's happening, and then she was just stuck there because, I mean, how can she sneak around anywhere? How can Amberlynn sneak around anywhere?
Wow, at the beginning of this video, I felt so sad. Like, you guys saw, like, I cried before this video. I just have a lot going on, okay? I cannot wait to start my medicine tomorrow, and I know
No one cares.
it takes like 5 to 6 weeks to start working, but girl, it's gonna be in my body. It's gonna be doing its thing. It's gonna be trying to work, you
Placebo.
know? And I just feel really hopeful, you know?
Placebo Domingo.
Positive changes are a coming. But anyways, I hope that you guys did enjoy
Ironic, because he was also morbidly obese.
this video, and thank you guys so much for just cheering me up a little bit, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye. Let's read these comments, because I'm sure they're not fun for her. It'll be fun for us, not for her. If the proposal story was yours to share, them cleaning your shit rags was their story to share. People don't believe you shower because you have a history of not showering. It's not that complicated. Yeah, I shower literally every day because I go to work and because I'm an adult and I sweat because it's hot. It's summer. Almost. Beck wiping you is their story as much as it is yours. Being a pick-me girl for Keemstar and Boogie, LMAO. You already told us how Beck proposed, right? It's just an excuse. Why not have an excuse, right? Relationship with food is the new sitting with discomfort. Yep. Yepers. 600 pounds is not due to genetics. Yeah, definitely not. I think Mama Lynn's weight went somewhere else other than her shelf, shall we say. If only you put this much energy into your health instead of talking about your exes. It's just sad. You're sad. Yep. I was crying. Girl, when aren't you crying? If I had a pound for every time you've mentioned Beck, I'd become you. Ooh. You're gonna get blocked. Her cheeks are about to explode from her face. She's got to be pushing 550. Let's read a couple more. He's the positivity in the room with us. I'll believe her that she did eat a salad at Denny's. They have a fried chicken salad, and then they also have one that's a Cobb salad. So I think that's what she got. And either way, the salad was between 560 and 1,040 calories. So she basically had a cheeseburger. Or two. Not like when she was a little girl scarfing them down. Why are you still talking about Beck? Because I have a right. I will not be erased and silenced. One more. Oh shit, I reached the end. The food journal is so smart. I'm rooting for your health journey, Amberlynn. New? No, similar IQ as Amber. Oh my god, you guys are so fucking funny. Let's leave it there. If you enjoyed this reaction, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a cell phone in the comments, because why not? At least we all didn't see our dad's dicks.